Here's a series of stretches you can do to loosen your hands, your wrists, your thumbs, and just hopefully these can help you out. First one we'll do will be without any kind of surface to use. You can just do these free by yourself and just make sure you have enough room. We'll start with the thumb. If you have any kind of tension here, this isn't loose, this area near the thumb, this side of the thumb, you can go ahead, take your thumb, just move it slightly downward. You can see it's down. All the other fingers, the wrist, should be basically straight. And then you make a fist around the thumb. And then you can take your other hand, extend your arm so that the elbow is fully out, the arm is straight out. You just slowly dip the wrist down towards the ground. You can hold this for about 10-15 seconds, less if you're in a hurry, and then slowly go back up. Now if any part of this was tense, you should feel something, some kind of pulling, something happening here. And obviously you don't want to go too far, you don't want to cause real pain. You can do it with the other hand, same thing. You can also, if you're feeling more confident with that stretch, you can do it under your own power without pulling it down with the hand. You can just go ahead and dip down just with the hand itself. The other one you can do if your thumb at all is tense, it's just pulling it back in the direction away from you with the other hand. Just pulling the thumb away. So do that again. You can also pull the thumb up. You want to be careful with this one not to go too far. You don't want to go beyond the range of the possible motion for the thumb, really, because it is possible to dislocate if you go too far, though very rare. The other thing you can do for the fingers is to go ahead and just one at a time pull them back, or you can do two at a time. Some people like to do all of them at the same time. I like to do two at a time. If you feel any kind of, that's for tension on this side of the fingers, really. If you feel any kind of tension on this side of the hand, the back of your hand, you can go ahead and this is also good for tennis elbow or any kind of tension on this side of the arm, up here, through here. You go ahead, move the arm out, straight out. You go in as far as you can. Don't go too far if it hurts. And what I just did was I pulled the fingers in. You can't see. I pulled the fingers towards me. Do that again. So out. Ideally you'd want to be like that, but just so you can see. And you can do this, if you can't do it under your own power, you can pull with your hand, making sure the elbow is straight. Pull with your hand, and then go ahead and turn the fingers in as far as they'll go. And again, if you go too far, you'll probably feel pain. You know that's too far from that signal. It's always good to do deep breathing while you do these stretches as well. And again, you want to warm up if you can. If you're cold, don't stretch. Don't stretch cold. That's just a general rule for most body warming up. You know, it's just a good rule to live by. It's possible to injure yourself if you do too many things or stretch too far while you are cold. Alright, so then that was also for the wrist, for the front of the wrist, that one, you can do that. You can make a fist, go down slowly, or you can pull it down with your hand if you need that. Alright, so there's also, if you have any kind of tension here, if this is sore or not loose or not working out right in this area, you can massage this with your fist like this. I'll do that sometimes, just like this. But then you can also, with your arm out, take your other hand, just slowly pull down. I'll show that from another angle. So arm is straight, breathing deeply while doing these will help bring blood and oxygen to those areas that need it. So it's great to do some really deep breathing, really focus on your breathing while you do the stretch. Alright, so there's that one, and you can also do it, if that one's too difficult, you can do it with your elbow bent, just like this. Another one you can try is with your arm overhand, this way. Either way you do it, you're going to be stretching this area. The previous one, when we went like this, stretches the other side. So you're getting both sides if you do it this way. And if you do the thumb in the fist, you're getting this side. Let's see. Okay, so this final one, you'll be using a surface, like a refrigerator in this case. You go ahead and just extend your arm out just like what we were doing before, and then place your hand on the surface. Everything should be straight, arm, elbow, everything just straight out, and you want it to be parallel to your shoulder if possible, or even with your shoulder if possible. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just turning my whole body while keeping my hand in the same spot on that surface. And you continue to move until you feel a stretch. You should feel a whole stretch through your whole arm, all the way potentially even to your shoulder and through your bicep. But mostly you should feel it in the wrist and in the thumb and definitely in the fingers too. Now this stretch is a different kind of stretch, and you can hold it for a lot longer. And you want to breathe deeply again. You can hold it for up to a minute. What will happen for most people is you'll start to feel a tingle through the arm, and that's totally normal. You'll feel that at first, for the first maybe week that you do this stretch. And you'll want to do this stretch maybe once or twice a day at most. You can go beyond that, but I wouldn't go beyond maybe 3 or 4 times a day. So you just hold this stretch, and you've gone basically as far as your body can go. You don't want to be feeling any pain. If you feel any pain, really, you should stop, go slowly back to where you started. Let's say I felt some pain, I would go like this. I would just go back to where I started, move the arm down, and then be very careful after you do this stretch to not suddenly turn your wrist. Just very gradually move it back to its normal position. A sudden movement could make it pop, which might be fine, but that might agitate it or inflame it. So you want to be careful with how you move your wrist directly after that stretch. Now, if you hold that stretch for about a minute, you should feel a lot of blood flow go into this hand and into this wrist area, especially if you do that deep breathing while you're doing it. I'll go ahead and do the other hand. See if you can see it. So you can see my hand. My elbow and arm are straight, and my arm has moved all the way to where it can't move any further back. I'm just moving my body, turning my body, breathing deeply. If you can look at yourself in a mirror, or in this case I'm able to see myself in this webcam, it may be helpful to you just to make sure that everything is lining up right. You want to make sure that you're not, extending your head forward, something like that, while you're doing these stretches. Everything is connected, so if you can keep everything in a natural position, that will help. Alright, so ideally I would do that stretch maybe twice as long as what I just held it, or even 3 times as long as that. You can go ahead and count as you're breathing, or you can just look at a clock, but I wouldn't hold it for any longer than about a minute. Hopefully these stretches will help you. You can alter the angle a little bit of that one. You can, for example, turn your hand so that the thumb points in a different direction, and this would, for me, stretch the thumb a little bit more. Alright, so hopefully those will help you. You know, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon.